What's up, peeps? This is Todd and welcome to my show. Today I want to talk to you guys about what I look for in buying a house hack. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, I have made a ton of money in real estate. I was featured on CNBC Make It, dubbed Millennial Millionaire, because I own 6 properties and I house hack all of them, meaning all of the houses that I own are rented out by the bedroom. It is a lot more lucrative this way. With only 6 properties that are just regular houses, I'm able to collect just under about $40,000 per month in rent. Of that, $12,500 is profit after all of the mortgages, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities are paid for. So today, I want to tell you guys the top 5 things that I look for when buying a house hack. So if you guys want to start your own house hacking business, this is what you can look for too. Now, quick disclaimer, this is just my personal preference, so you don't have to do what I have done. All I'm sharing with you guys today is what has worked for me. It has worked really well for me, and so I want to share my experience. And of course, if you have any questions, put them in the comments down below. If that sounds good, let's hop into the video. So the first thing that I look for when buying a house hack is I almost exclusively invest in undervalued areas that are going through a transition. So most of my properties are in the greater Seattle area, and what I did was I invested in areas about 20 minutes outside of downtown Seattle. These are areas with a lot of potential, but not a crazy amount of development. I wanted to buy in these areas to take advantage of the huge possibility of appreciation because of how expensive Seattle is getting. So for any of you out there that maybe you're in a big city, maybe you're not, but if you're close to a city, if you can buy just outside of that in an area where people could be moving with the inflated cost of that city, that is a huge game changer. For example, my wife and I, we bought our first house in December of 2015 for $506,000. 2 years later, that exact same house appraised for about $180,000 more than what we paid for it. So just in 2 years, without doing any renovations, without changing the structure of the building, without even putting paint on it, we had an extra $200,000 in equity just because of the location that we bought. Now, we have rinsed and repeated that same technique across all 6 of our houses. So in total, we've realized over $500,000 just in appreciation in 4 years. That is completely passive. We didn't do anything for that. We can't even really take credit for that. But frankly, our equity and our net worth has gone up by $500,000 just based on the location that we bought real estate in. Now, the second thing that I look for when I buy a house hack is no HOA. This is very important, you guys, because sometimes when you have an HOA, they have rules about how many units can be rented or even rules about how many cars can be parked in a driveway. All of my houses are 6-bedroom houses. So if everybody has a car and there's rules about how many cars can park in a driveway, I will not be able to run my business. Also with an HOA, you kind of give up control because a lot of the times there's guidelines about what you have to do with your yard and, different things you have to do to just uphold that HOA neighborhood, and I don't want to be out of control. I want complete control of my property. If I have an extra side yard or whatever, I want to be able to build storage units that I can lease that out as well, or turn it into additional parking. Now, keeping with the same idea about maintaining control, I also only buy a standalone building or a standalone house. And again, I'm not saying you have to do this, but I personally would never buy a townhouse that is attached to another house and try to house hack that. I would buy it if I owned the entire building. But if I do not own the entire building, I have no interest in buying a house where I potentially don't even own the land and my house is connected to 1 or 2 or even 3 other houses where there's other owners in those houses and they could eventually get mad that I'm renting out the bedrooms and having a bunch of cars in the driveway. I also would never purchase a condo in a big apartment building basically and try to do the same thing. Now, I'm very interested in owning a huge building. If I can buy the entire building, in fact, that's one of my goals for 2020 is I want to buy an apartment building, I absolutely would do that. But buying one unit of a big apartment complex or buying one unit in a bunch of condos or even like a row house or a townhouse that's connected to other houses, that is something that I'm absolutely not interested in. Now, the third thing that I look for when buying a house hack is an excellent parking situation. So I have a house that is a couple minutes away from the airport and it is an 8-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. I have all 8 bedrooms of that leased out and I needed to have parking for 8 vehicles. So part of my criteria is I'm very strict about buying a house that only has parking for all of the tenants. So basically what that means is I only consider houses if we're going to have a parking spot for each rentable bedroom. So the smallest house that I have is 6 bedrooms. The largest house that I have is 8 bedrooms. So for the 6-bedroom house, I have to have a minimum of 6 parking spots. And for the 8-bedroom house, I have to have a minimum of 8 parking spots. So I only ever buy houses where they're on lots big enough to create more parking, or they have a 3-car garage plus some parking on the side. I am not a fan of buying a house that maybe has 1 or 2 parking spots and the rest is street parking. And part of this is, you guys, is you want to make it idiot proof. You want to rent out rooms in a house and have every room have an assigned parking spot. And that way, there's never any confusion on where people are supposed to park. There's never any confusion on where guests can come. And also that way, your tenants are never parking in front of a neighbor's house and potentially upsetting that neighbor. Now, the next thing I look for when buying a house hack is you guys want to have a really good bedroom to bathroom ratio. What I mean by that is you do not want to own a 5-bedroom, 1-bathroom house where 5 people will be sharing just 1 bathroom. As I mentioned before, I have an 8-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. And even that is pushing it a little bit. I would like there to be a 5th bathroom. In the duplex that I live in, that I'm sitting in right now, this building has 7 bathrooms. It is crazy, but it's awesome because I can house hack, I can lease it out to a family, or I can Airbnb it. There are so many options that I can do with this property. The first house that I ever bought was 6 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, which is a really good ratio. And that's really what you want to have, guys. In my opinion, you don't want to go more than 3 or 4 people sharing 1 bathroom. That's when things can get a little bit messy. So if you can have 2 people to a bathroom, that's great. If you have like a Jack and Jill style house where every bedroom gets its own bathroom, not only will that do well for renting it out and you can charge a lot of rent for that, but it will also just keep harmony in the house. But the most I would ever have sharing 1 bathroom is 4 people at a maximum, and that is only if that bathroom has 2 sinks or more. Now, the last thing that I look for when buying a house hack is it needs to be somewhere close to public transportation. So all of my houses are right on a bus line. In fact, 4 of them are walking distance to a park and ride. And from that park and ride, it's only about a 20-minute bus trip to downtown Seattle. So that's a really important thing, you guys. I talked about parking before, but not all of your tenants are going to have cars all the time. Maybe you're going to rent to somebody who doesn't have a car and they're going to want reliable transportation. But this will also help with the appreciation in that area that's undervalued, that's going through a transition. If you're next to a bus, or at least you're on a bus line, it's really going to help with the appreciation and with the overall attractiveness of that home when you're trying to rent it out to young professionals. And the only reason I say young professionals is that's mainly who's looking for rooms to rent. You oftentimes find people in their mid-20s looking for a room. You find that much more often than someone in their 70s looking for a room to rent. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. So to recap, you are looking for a house hack where you're going to rent out the bedrooms and live for free, and you are looking for a house in an undervalued area that's going through a transition. You are looking for a place that has no HOA, so you have complete control, and also a house that's not connected to any other house or in a big complex like a bunch of condos. You're looking for a house with a really good bedroom to bathroom ratio, so you never have more than 4 people sharing 1 bathroom. You also want to find a house that is right on a bus line for good public transportation, and you also want to make sure that your house has plenty of parking for all of your tenants. If this video was helpful to you, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and also do not forget to subscribe to this channel so you never miss the content that I am putting out. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @ToddJBaldwin, and that is right down below. And it is the exact same handle for my TikTok, which is just basically me doing ridiculous dance moves, trolling everybody on the platform TikTok. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace.